walking.
Harriet Tubman is one of the most prestigious names that will forever echo throughout history. Born into slavery as Harmony to Harriet Ross and marching around year 1822, Harriet went on to free many slaves after she herself first escaped in 1849. The exact number of slaves she led to freedom is not certain. However, we do know that she made over 13 missions along the route of the Underground Railroad in doing so.
Harriet Tubman had many accomplishments that helped break down barriers for all African Americans. She was the first to lead an armed assault during the Civil War, a prominent voice in the campaign for women's suffrage, and the first African American woman to be honored on a U.S. postage stamp. Harriet's groundbreaking contributions have planted many seeds for men, women, and generations to come.
And I fight with the strength that I got until I die. So I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to
Tilda Boleyn was born on April 11, 1908 in Poughkeepsie, New York. She became the first black woman to receive a law degree from Yale in 1931 and passed the New York State Bar exam in 1932. At 16 years old, she enrolled in Wellesley College in Massachusetts, where she was one of two black freshmen. She graduated in 1928 in the top 20 of her class and enrolled at Yale Law School, where she was the only black student and one of only 3 women. What inspired you to get into law, and when did you notice that you had a passion for it?
Well, my father was a lawyer, and he was the first black person to graduate from Williams College. And he was a huge part of my inspiration and part of the reason why I got into law in the first place. And as I became more aware of injustices, specifically the lynchings, I wanted to do my part as best I could.
Were there any stumbling blocks along the journey?
Of course there were. I remember my guidance counselor telling me that there was little opportunity for women in law and absolutely none for a colored one. My father even had his own reservations, but once he saw how passionate I was, of course he supported.
Boleyn began practicing law with her father for a short period of time before accepting a job with the New York City Corporation Counsel's office. In 1936, Boleyn ran unsuccessfully for the New York State Assembly as a Republican candidate. Despite the loss, securing the Republican candidacy boosted her reputation in New York politics.
How was life for you growing up?
And being that I was a child of an interracial couple, I was subject to certain discriminations. But I do feel blessed to have had my father and to have made it out okay.
How does it feel to be the first African American judge?
Everyone else makes a big fuss about it, but I didn't think about it and I still don't. I don't care about being the first, second, the last. My work is my primary concern.
Well, thank you so much, Judge Boleyn, for your time. I really appreciate it. It was an honor interviewing you.
Likewise, thank you.
On July 22, 1939, Boleyn was appointed as a judge of the Domestic Relations Court at just 31 years old. And for 20 years, she was the only black female judge in the country. She remained a judge of the court for 40 years until her retirement at age 70. During her lifetime, Judges Judith Kay and Constance Baker Motley cited Boleyn as a source of inspiration for their careers. She lived a life full of groundbreaking achievements and left a legacy for many, many women to come.
Bridges was born September 8, 1954 in Tylertown, Mississippi. The world first met Ruby Bridges in 1960 when she was just 6 years old and became the first black child to desegregate an all-white Williams France elementary school in New Orleans, Louisiana. Ruby was in kindergarten when she was chosen to take the test that would determine if she could attend an all-white school. Despite the difficulty of the test, designed to keep blacks out, Ruby was one of 6 children selected.
Hey, Ruby, what you doing in here today? Nothing. Want to help Mom cook? Or you want to have a conversation about the school tomorrow? I want to help Mom cook. So we're going to do both. So, tomorrow is the big day. You're going to go to this new school. You might be nervous. I don't want you to be nervous. I'm going to be with you for the first day. And if I'm not with you, who is always with you? Who else is always with you? Just like we pray at night, we're going to pray in the car. God is always with you no matter what, okay? Okay? I don't want you to be scared or nervous, okay? Nobody can stop you. You are there. You earned this spot. You are very, very intelligent and smart, okay? So when you go to the school tomorrow, you might hear people yelling some bad things. Some people might not like that you're going to this new school, but it's going to be okay, right? I don't want you to think about it. I want you to be positive. I want you to listen. You're going to show them that you can do it, okay? I'll be with you. Okay, so let's get this book bag off for you. And give me a hug. I want you to go to bed with your sisters and brothers and say your prayers and love you, okay? Take that uniform off.
Bridges and her mother were escorted by 4 federal marshals during her first day at William France Elementary School. There was a large crowd throwing things and shouting vicious slurs, and even a woman holding a black doll in a coffin. Ruby spent her first day in the principal's office due to the chaos. Angry white parents pulled their children from school, and some withdrew permanently. Barbara Henry was the only teacher willing to accept her. Ruby ate lunch alone and sometimes played with her teacher at recess, but she never missed a day of school that year. Bridges and her family's sacrifices were not in vain. It granted opportunities for future black students and opened doors for change all over America. President Barack Obama said himself, "I think it's fair to say that if it hadn't been for you guys, I might not be here."
I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulder.
As I stand here today, it is truly an honor to take on this position as Vice President for women, especially Black women, all over the world. Being the first female Vice President and the first Vice President of color is something I don't take lightly. There are little girls all over the world watching me right now, and they have a new inspirational goal for when they grow up. Since I can remember, my mom taught me and my sister how to be strong, intelligent women of color, unapologetic and unwavering. And I will continue to stand on this and help push this country in the right direction alongside President Biden. Thank you. God bless. And God bless America.
Madam Vice can only be asked 5 questions. Vice President Harris, in your first few weeks in office, will you make education a priority or will it continue to be overshadowed by taxes?
Education will definitely be a priority.
Vice President Harris, I love your outfit. Can you tell us more about it?
Thank you so much. I have on a Chanel suit and pearls that my grandmother gave me.
Oh, you're quite welcome. One more question. What examples do you want to set for young Black women?
I want to show young Black women that anything is possible with hard work and dedication.
Last question.
Vice President Harris, what is the importance of maintaining family values in America?
It is important to maintain family values so we can plant seeds for the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President.
I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head.
All throughout history, Black women have been a huge part of the world's success. They have given so much of themselves, making major contributions to music, to education, hair, fashion, engineering, inventions, and even helping to change many laws. Fannie Lou Hamer, a civil rights activist and American voting activist, dedicated her life to fighting for equal voting rights. Hamer even suffered police brutality in her efforts to make Black voices heard. She went on to co-found the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party in 1964 and later inspired thousands of African Americans in Mississippi to become registered voters. The impact of the Black woman may not always have been known on a large scale, but it is impossible for anyone to discredit. Dating all the way back to Africa, the bravery, the courage, the will, and the strength is something that is ingrained in their very makeup. In 2008, we all got to experience the first African American First Lady, Michelle Obama. Now in 2021, the world has witnessed yet again another historical moment. The first woman and the first Black Vice President of the United States ever, Ms. Kamala Harris. We have been graced to encounter amazing leaders and teachers. Black women all over the world have excelled tremendously, breaking down barriers and shattering several stigmas. Black women have soared beyond the stars and have made the impossible possible.
I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people. I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run.